Alright. Hi guys. So one of my this is a topic I've wanted to talk about for a long time now, since it kinda hits home. It's about the grossology fandom and how I think there's a lot of problems with it. Now, I feel like we should address the elephant in the room while starting to talk about this, which is the fact that it is a kids show. And for some reason a lot of the fandom is I mean I don't mean that a lot of the fandom is adults, that's a bad thing, because a lot of adults in the fandom mainly know it for nostalgia purposes, which I'm totally okay with. I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem with is the amount of adults that fetishize the children characters. For example, a huge aspect of this you see is on DeviantArt, and how people on DeviantArt would fetishize the characters. Like, for example, um, I would say people like Joker Carnage, who tends to draw grossology characters or the female characters at least, with really big tits. And unfortunately, it's not just his art style. If you look at his favorite groups, it's a fetish for him, which is a huge problem because the characters in grossology are around 13 to 15, I believe, which is really not okay, especially because Joker Carnage is a grown-ass adult. I personally think this fandom has a lot of problems being inappropriate with minor characters, and that causes a lot of problems for, like, children in the fandom. Like, because I used to be in the fandom during 2023 to 2024, and that was genuinely one of the worst fandoms I've ever been in, due to the amount of people who would constantly fetishize it. Especially because I've had multiple run-ins with drama, which leads me to the second person I'd like to talk about, who is A Cartoon Reference. Now, A Cartoon Reference, I guess they're sort of infamous in the fandom, but for one, they had drama with me and another person on DeviantArt who is pretty alright. Like, they're not a bad person. I forget their username, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. I'll put them on screen if I remember to. But yeah, so they originally got mad at that person for having religious trauma and not being Christian, which I personally don't think is okay. I don't have a problem with Christianity, but I do feel that it's inappropriate if you get angry at people for not having the same religion as you. And yeah, so I noticed on Toy House they blocked me, and I was very confused because they favorited my character and then blocked me. So I looked at their. So I like DM'd the friend about it because I thought it was kind of funny. Like, oh, that guy blocked me. I wonder what that was about. Or sorry, not guy. They go by they them pronouns. I apologize. Um, but yeah, so they told me the story, and I thought that was very odd. And eventually, it I realized that they were because they knew me from DeviantArt, and I realized, how did they find my Toy House? Because I did not link that anywhere on my profile. So I became worried because it was kind of weird for them to add to favorite my characters. So I personally thought they were stalking me, which made me very concerned. And eventually, they found an old fetish account I had on DeviantArt, which I will give context for that account. I was groomed into drawing that art, and I do not have support the content I drew at the time. Like, I think that shit I drew was very gross, and I am very ashamed of it. But I don't stand by that art anymore. And they dug that stuff up and sent a DM to the person they got angry at, saying that I was a pedophile. They also I followed someone who had the objective flag and accused me of being a pedophile because they thought it was the map flag. So they accused me of something without any research. And so yeah, the person sent me a DM with their warning about me, saying like what is going on, because so I had to say like I was groomed into that art, like I do not stand by that art. That's not the pedophile flag, that's the objective flag, so it's not bad. And yeah, so they apologized for the accusing me of a pedophile thing, but they still kind of stood by the rest of their statements, and I'm not entirely sure if they apologized or not, but they definitely didn't do it directly to me. If they did, they likely did it to my friend in DMs, so they didn't even personally reach out to me to apologize, which I thought was not very nice of a thing to do. So I've made fun of them and a lot of their content a lot of the time due to the way they treated me. I also mentioned many times about how like they accused me of stuff without proper knowledge, and I do not think that's something directly okay with. Now, I would like to say a cartoon reference has deleted all of their socials. Besides Art Fight, they still have Art Fight, but they changed their username. I'm not going to leak that because I don't feel like that's okay, even the way they treated me. And yeah, I just think a cartoon reference was a bad person who needs to learn their lesson that it's not okay to stalk and harass people. Which I should mention, a cartoon reference is an adult. Like, they were an adult in doing this. And now the last person I'd like to bring up, arguably the worst in my opinion, is Grossy Cutie. Now, Grossy Cutie is a fetish artist, and I'm going to put artist in quotes here because they steal their art. Their art is from a deactivated account, and they primarily draw fetish art of a villain for the show, Sloppy Joe. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with drawing fetish art of adult characters for the show, since they're adults, they can consent to that kind of content, so I don't really mind. I personally did not want to interact with that content, and I had them blocked due to Sloppy Joe being a comfort character of mine. I was not comfortable with seeing that art. So I had them blocked. I wasn't a big fan of them, but I didn't really have any personal run-ins with them until like a few weeks later, whenever they followed me on TikTok. Now the thing is, they claim to be 18 plus, but I stated all over my profile that I was 14 at the time, because I was saying like I'm 14. Don't be weird with me. Please don't interact if you draw fetish art. Blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. Now either they didn't see that, or or they went out of their way to ignore that boundary. And either way, I was not comfortable with that. So I blocked them. And I also took a look at their DeviantArt again because they're pissing me off. I wanted to go block them. I look at their favorites, and it's all porn and fetish art of Ty and Abby, who are around the age of 13 to 14. And I do not think that's okay whatsoever, since this person is likely an adult who is looking at content revolving children. Now, I don't necessarily want to accuse them of being a pedophile or anything, but I definitely think they have some sort of problem with that content. And I do think they should get, like, help, or just not be on the internet, because that content is not okay. And that's a big problem with the fandom. The constant fetishization of the characters, and the lack of boundaries I feel a lot of the fandom has, especially when it comes to minors in it. since I'm one of the only people in this fandom who is a minor, or at least from the ones I've met. I've met like 2 people, I believe. One of them was when I got into the show, so I don't personally count that. But yeah, nearly everyone in this fandom is adult, and they seem to have no sense of boundaries, whether it's accusing me of, or whether it's following me when I claim to be an adult, or claim to not want adults to interact, or sometimes they just don't understand that it's not okay to draw fetish art of children. And I also want to briefly, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic, but I would also like to briefly mention the Grossology French dub, because I was the person who uploaded that a while ago. I uploaded 2 episodes. Now, the reason I stopped doing it was, one, I lost interest in grossology, and I was getting really tired of doing recordings and uploading it, because I had to edit out the Teletoon commercials, and it took a while, especially because I was using CapCut, and I got hundreds of comments asking me for more, even on unrelated posts, and I would tell people I was working on it, I was trying to get new episodes, but they did not stop. And eventually I got so angry I stopped archiving content. And I am not okay with people harassing me, so that's why I stopped. And I want to apologize for not releasing every episode I could, because I should have done that. I do think I should have, but I was sick of getting harassed, and now the show doesn't air anymore, so unfortunately I can't upload it now. But yeah, I don't think this fandom is the greatest. They have many problems with lack of boundaries, constant drawing of child abuse material, which I'm not necessarily sure is the right term for the kind of content, but a lot of it is definitely aimed towards fetish audiences. I do not think that's okay, considering the characters' ages. Now, if I do want to say, please don't harass anyone who's mentioned in this video. Just block them, because they don't deserve attention. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you if you actually watched me ramble on about this for 13 minutes. Also, sorry my Monkey Dance or Stepmania gameplay is shit. I'm terrible at this game. Yeah, bye.